What is up, guys? Name is Ray and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. And in today's video, we're going to talk about KUJOU Sara and how to properly build her. Before we dive into the topic of today's video, I'd like to use the opportunity to do some advertisement for the channel. So one of the biggest goals of becoming a content creator for me was to hit that 1000 subscriber mark on YouTube. We're still on the way to go, so definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, of course, if you want to support the channel and if you want to support me getting closer to my goal. Now, the next thing is, of course, if we do hit that milestone, I'm going to open up an official Discord. I already mentioned that in the past, but now I just want to clarify that once again. Now, if we do hit 1000 subscribers on YouTube, there will a bigger event happen, like in form of a stream. I will do a big announcement with giveaways and stuff like this, as well as open up the Discord so we can keep connected everybody to each other. So I know that some of you guys still try to connect to me, which I do highly appreciate. I do really like those messages that when is your next stream, what is the next video that you're bringing out, like can you bring this and this type of content. So I do really like these suggestions, and this connecting between subscriber and the content creator. One more thing that I like to talk about is my official Instagram account. So if you're using Instagram and if you're interested in what I am doing outside of the content creation or what I'm preparing next for videos, what I'm doing in the background behind the scenes of Dre Gacha Gaming, then definitely make sure to follow me on Instagram. Announcements happen there first before they would happen anywhere else. Alright, and that's enough talk and advertisement, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Alright, because the last video about Raiden Shogun, how to properly build her, was very theoretical, I will do it the same way with KUJOU Sara in this video. So we want to put as many and as quick informations in this video as possible. Alright, so I also do think KUJOU Sara is not the right character to showcase, because most of the time you won't see her. Her playstyle is kind of obvious, so you just use E into a charged auto attack, place it right in front of your enemy, wait for it to explode, see the damage buff, and see how the damage numbers change. And yeah, I don't think that this is the proper way to showcase or do a very good showcase on that character. So it's more likely that I will help you out with building the character, because I used the character a lot during the last days along with Raiden Shogun. And here's what I gotta say. So yeah, most of this is based on my personal experience with testing those weapons. Now, for those weapons, I literally, for 5-star weapons, I would only recommend Skyward Harp. Maybe if you have it, Elegy for the Ant, but I think nobody really summoned for that weapon. But if you have it, I think that is also a good way to use it. But actually, best in slot weapon for KUJOU Sara is Skyward Harp in terms of damage. Amos Bow is just a static, so you would only use it because of the high base attack, because of the attack percentage scaling. But the passive wouldn't really help you guys, because you never really charge attack directly to your opponent. Most of the time you use E and then you charge charge attack right in front of the opponent, because you want your E to explode, and that doesn't scale off with anything that is included in the passive of Amos Bow. But yeah, as a stat stick, it's still fine though. But yeah, I think I wouldn't recommend it if you don't have any other 5-star weapon. As well as Thundering Pulse. It looks cool on KUJOU Sara, but it also is only a stat stick, so it works just because of high base attack and crit damage scaling. But most of the part of the passive, you do not really auto attack with the character, so you cannot really use the passive to its full potential. So I'd rather just have a Skyward Harp where you do not have to do anything. So yeah, don't get me wrong, those two weapons, they work, but I would rather use 4-star weapons to utilize your abilities way better. So yeah, let's talk about 4-star weapons. So for 4-star weapons, I personally would recommend you guys to use the energy recharge weapon. So we have two major energy recharge weapons here. We have the Favonius Lance and we have the Sacrificial Bow. Now, KUJOU Sara is a very energy cost heavy character. She has high cooldown and 80 energy cost, and you basically always want to have that up on cooldown. The only talent that helps with that is the Decorum. When Tengu Jurai ambush hits opponents, KUJOU Sara will restore 1.2 energy to all party members for every 100% energy recharge she has. This effect can be triggered once every 3 seconds. So basically, she already has 100% energy recharge. If you add more 100% energy recharge, if you add a energy recharge weapon, you will be over 100%. And yeah, actually, this does help with getting energy back, but it doesn't do that much. And the main thing on KUJOU SARA is you always want to keep up the attack buff. So basically, you always want to be have this up, and you always want to have this up. So it's 6 seconds plus, I don't know, immediately after this another 6 seconds. So if you have like, this has 14 seconds, and this has 4 seconds off. So you can use this into this, and then you can get back into this actually, for example. So you kind of can keep the buff very consistently up, but it takes a lot of micromanagement. The character, you really need to play the character properly to always keep the buff up. And if you want to do it like more easily, then try to fix the problem with the elemental burst and just use the elemental burst as often as you can. Therefore, I'd say use energy recharge weapons. She is also not supposed to do a lot of damage. I mean, your elemental burst has like a decent scaling. It does do, for me, it does like around 30k with Skyward Hop and the build that I'm currently running, which is kind of a lot for a support. But it feels like, I feel like it doesn't really matter if she deals like 30k or 20k, because your DPS will do the work at the end. So yeah, important to notice for the Favonius weapon is that KUJOU SARA has to stay on the field, so you have to do an auto attack, because the normal playstyle how you would use her is you use E, charge auto attack like into the ground right in front of your opponent, and you would swap out into your character. If that would explode and it would crit because of the passive of Favonius Lance, then you won't get like the additional particles from Favonius Lance. That's very important to notice. So KUJOU SARA has to stay on the field. So I would like maybe auto attack before you place any E. Alright, so if you use Favonius Lance, use auto attack and then use your E ability before you do anything else. The same goes for Sacrificial Bow. KUJOU SARA has to stay on the field. I actually would go for Favonius Bow, because the E of KUJOU SARA requires you to do a charged auto attack, which needs even more micromanagement, because it is also what do I want to say? It is like hard to trigger your charge attack after using your E, because there are sometimes opponents running around and you have to dodge the attacks. But like with Favonius Bow, it's a lot easier. You just gotta, you can use like E, auto attack, wait until the particles turn back, do a charged auto attack, and then you can swap onto your character. While with a Sacrificial Bow, you have to micromanagement 2 charged auto attacks. Yeah, besides that, if you're not really a fan of energy recharge, but this is the personal recommendation that I would do, I would go for a stringless. This one increases elemental skill and elemental burst damage, so it would increase the charged that you put on the ground after you use your E, and it would increase the damage of your E. But elemental mastery is like kinda that stat on KUJOU SARA. But yeah, that weapon also works, I'd say, as well as Rust. Rust also really good stat stick. It gives high base attack for a Foster weapon, attack percentage. It increases normal attacks, which is not that useful for KUJOU SARA, because you, as I said, you mainly, if you use like for a old bot, or if you just use her as a supporter, which I think is her main role, she isn't supposed to do a lot of damage, and this is like the playstyle you want to do. Just E and Q to always keep up the attack buff. Another weapon that also works is the Ally Hunter. So if you're going as well as Verdescent Hunt. So if you want to rank the weapons, I would divide it into 2 parts. The one hand being the supportive KUJOU SARA route, and the other one the sub DPS KUJOU SARA route. So let's start off with the support KUJOU SARA. Therefore, I'd say the best weapon is Elegy for the end, followed by Skyward Hop, followed by the energy recharge weapon Favonius Bow, followed by Sacrificial Bow. So if you want to go more the supportive route, I definitely recommend those 4 weapons to pick in that order. And if you want to go a little bit more damage, sub DPS KUJOU SARA, I'd say Skyward Hop being the best. All 5-star weapons basically are damage 4-star weapons. So Thundering Pulse, Amos Bow, Elegy for the end. Technically into a Blackcliff Warbow, which I wouldn't really recommend. So the next thing after Blackcliff Warbow would be Ally Hunter, if you have that weapon. If you do not have the weapon, the next would be Verdescent Hunt. If you of course do not have Verdescent Hunt, then Rust. And if you do not have a Rust, Stringless is the next best option that I would pick for going sub DPS KUJOU SARA. Alright, let's move on into artifact builds. Now, for artifact builds, it's straight up. If you want to go the supportive route that I already mentioned, I definitely pick Noblesse 4-piece, because you can get another attack buff for your whole team. I think another set that should work is the one that I'm running on Raiden Shogun. If you want to go a little bit more elemental burstish route, Emblem of Severed Fates. Otherwise, you can also split if you want to go still sub DPS. 2-piece of the Noblesse and 2-piece of Thundering Theory. Also 4-piece Thunder Sufa should work. So there are a lot of different artifacts that work, but the only thing that I could recommend for support is this one, and the other one that I would recommend is this one. And what I also think is good enough is 2-piece Noblesse, 2-piece Thundering Theory. But besides those 3 combinations, I wouldn't really recommend you guys more than those 3 combinations. So if you cannot obtain like 2 Noblesse, then you can replace it with 2 Shimenawas or 2 Gladiators for now. It also should work for the meanwhile. But actually, I think the best way to run KUJOU Sara is as a support, to be honest. In subsets, priority, basically like every other character. Crit rate, crit damage, energy recharge, attack percentage. You can also go for more attack percentage rather than energy recharge if you prefer to do more damage. As I said, if you prefer more as a sub DPS character, then attack percentage is a little bit more valuable than energy recharge. For the timepiece, still go for attack percentage, don't go for energy recharge. Goblet, still go for electro damage, and Circlet, go for crit, the one that you need more, crit rate or crit damage. Talent priority, I would say I would recommend to level up the E ability because it increases the attack bonus ratio, and as well as the elemental burst. Also, the passive of the elemental burst also scales off. So in this text, it also scales off of the E. So the first thing that you really want to level up is the E if you want to go support Sara, which, as I said, is the way I would recommend to run her. And if you want to go more sub DPS Sara, then go ahead and level up the elemental burst first. But keep in mind that if you level elemental burst over E ability, you won't increase the attack bonus ratio. Yes, other than that, I think that her constellations are really accessible, but I don't really want to talk about this. I'm currently having her constellation 2. I didn't unlock that just because of the fact that I thought I was doing a showcase, which I think won't happen. So this could probably be the only video referring to KUJOU Sara during that period where she is available. Maybe there will be another one, I'm not too sure. But yeah, hope I could help you out with that artifact builds, with that specific build. So overall, I'd say KUJOU Sara is a really good character. She's like Bennett with a little less utility. Bennett brings like still a lot to the table. KUJOU Sara cannot be the female Bennett, but because she is the other character, the only other character in the game currently to really buff attack, I think she will be very relevant still though. With that being said, I hope I could help you. I hope I could help you out with the builds, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I see you guys next time. Bye.